Good morning, everybody. Climber here. Good morning, Discord. Good morning, Simple Stocks. How is everybody doing? Here I am recording the Tuesday morning notes, and we've had pretty quiet overnight action since the 6 p.m. open, and they are basically just kind of drifting down. I believe the pivot point is right around here. It's not far away. It's like 32. Let's see. Yep, it's right there. It's 31, 68.31. So that's pretty much what we expected. They would either drift down to the pivot point, or they would go touch a higher area here, which is not the resistance, but there is another area here. That's the monthly open, which was about 68.78, I believe, right around here. From 6 p.m. So this is what's happening. This is what really makes sense, because we've had an incredible 2-day period from Friday morning to Friday lows to Monday highs. And here's what futures are doing. Here's a list of the futures. There is not anything here that actually made any extreme moves overnight. Natural gas is still bleeding a little bit. That was a surprise to me. I talked about it last Tuesday's video, and looks like ES is down about 0.25%, and Q is more, about 0.5%, and RTY is another 0.25%. So just wanted to show this list, and I increasingly see more and more people dabbling in different kinds of futures and commodities. So I think I'm going to make this little chart, this little board, part of my post also. I'm working on a pretty cool board for you guys, so that will get included in my chart post. Okay. So let's jump into the other charting platform, and this is what ES is doing right now. If you go to 5 minutes, this is the vertical line, the vertical dash line on my chart is the 6 p.m. open. They opened and then they start drifting down, and here's the PP. So we will come back to this after talking about a bigger picture. Let's jump to this right now. So here's the daily chart. We're looking at ES here. A ridiculous candle. If you guys watched last Tuesday's video, and if you remember me walking you through 3 different scenarios as to what could happen, this was the most likely scenario. That's how I tagged that scenario. I think it was number 1 maybe. Just if you want to go back and look, it's there. The videos, I make the videos public after the end of the day, so you can go back and watch them. Okay, but this was basically right off of this trend line, and it was about the middle of this area, which is very common for them. And we knew for a fact that this 66.30, 66.40 area was a big hot zone, and they ended up buying that zone. What was really this, I sort of expected, although not this into this strength, but this to me was a complete surprise. You do not get to see many Mondays that follows up like this. So, but like I said on the last week's video, a lot of our critical days, a lot of our key days in 2024 and 2025 were these candles. These daily candles made a big they became a big pivot. So right now what we're watching this week is that whether this one, this nice consolidation and follow-up, by the way, this was an 8-day lower lows, almost 8-day lower lows with the exception of this candle, but that has the spirit of a lower low, so I would count that as a bad day. We're watching to see if this is going to become a dead cat bounce, kind of like the one that we had in March, or it's actually going to follow through and then make new highs. And the way we're going to know that is that roughly in this area, I think when we go to the more detailed chart, I'll show you guys, but in this area about, I would say 68.80, we have a monthly open 68.78 or so. I think if they can close a candle above that, we're going to assume that the next big target will be 69.16. So this 69.16 to me will be where, when the market decides, okay, we're making new highs, or nope, we're gonna curl back down and then go back down. Maybe one more test, maybe not as low as this one, maybe in this region, and then make a new high. So it may not be a straight up it may come back to the 69.16, curl back down, then look around and see what the Vista has for us, whether it's politics or economics or other stuff, and then they decide to go lower or they turn back up and then make a new high. Now look at ES, where ES is right now. ES is basically cleared this. This November 6 candle is important. It's more important than this candle. I would suggest that you guys orient yourselves to this. Take a look at this. ES was pretty much out of this candle. It is now dipping inside of it because this morning dip, but it was basically cleared. Take a look at what NQ is doing. This is NQ, and it is firmly inside of this candle. Okay, this is the candle that told us that they were going to hold this level, the previous all-time high, and then we dip and then we come back above it. So it's going to be important to follow what we do today and tomorrow in relation to this one. All right, and then take a look at the RTY version of this. They never cleared above it. Remember, ES was up here in relation to the Wednesday candle. This little guy, I'm sorry, the November 6th Thursday candle, and they never cleared this. This guy is firmly inside of it. It never cleared it, and this is the only one that cleared it, and it's largely because of this. I don't want to use any bad words here, but this group. What's been happening is that if you look at the weekly candles of these, this is the mega caps collective and this is the XL sector collectives, and I do change the ingredients of this sometimes, but I mostly trade, I mostly follow these guys, these particular ones out of the 11. They did have 2 red weeks, but mega caps had a much more kind of red week than they did. And if you look at the dailies, the daily candle of the mega cap collective on Friday went a lot lower than the 10-10 candle. Look at this one. This was the one to be kind of testing, and we went lower than that. We did buy the dip, but look at this thing. They didn't even feel the need to go down here or here. So that's quite strange. So basically what this chart is telling me is that this group, the underdogs of this stock market, is doing better than the mega caps, and they're going to be the ones that take me up. I am not believing that. I have never believed that, and it never followed me. It never led me to a ditch. I could be wrong very clearly, but I'm going to continue to think that unless these guys start doing something fantastic in relation to their recent history, I'm not going to take these guys that seriously. Little bit, but not all that seriously. So I want to see the mega caps are doing this. This is what really matters. None of this matters if this doesn't do well. So make sure that you understand that, okay? And jump from that, maybe a good segue to jump to this. Google and Apple holding up the top of the tippy top of the bull flag is not going to get us to new highs. This is not going to do it. They're already spent, both of them. They've had an incredible rally, both of these, and they are unable to proceed. Like, they're unable to progress, but they're also not dropping. This is a really bad price action. This does not end well. It never ends well. They might have another nice green week, but that might be too. So for us to make real progress in the stock market, and I'm talking like a good, solid late November, solid December rally into next year, these guys will have to wake up and then decide, you know what, we're done consolidating. I have the double bottom. I'm done. I'm ready, and I'm ready to breach 530. Well, before it gets to 530, for example, Microsoft, it's going to have to beat 518 and 519, which has been a really big area. It just couldn't beat it. Not only that, but it dropped big after that. So that's not a great sign. Same Meta. After every earnings, last 3, 4, maybe 5 earnings that I can think of, it drops. And then, if you look at 6 months into it, it has new highs. So I know they will recover, but they are in the ditch right now. So is Netflix and Amazon. Another not very pretty chart. Nvidia, again, in my opinion, it's spent. Now, there's an exception to it. The earnings coming next Wednesday, we have the Nvidia earnings. So I think there are a collective out there are more and more now questioning how that circulatory kind of investment gonna end up. I think there's a lot of questions as to whether Nvidia's relationship or investments with other companies are actually honest. So it's gonna have great earnings. I'm not just saying that, but I think people are ready to be a little bit more cautious about Nvidia, and I think that's what we have seen actually. So long story short, I need these companies and maybe this guy to start acting a little bit differently. These aren't gonna do it. These aren't gonna carry us into a major December rally. Okay. So from that, let's jump to RTY quickly. There is something really interesting brewing with RTY. I have talked about this a little bit before, but the incessive trading that they told us that they were definitely going to 25 and 2600s has happened yet. And I have been very clear about how I was going to trade this and what I think they were going to do, and I've been 100% right so far. The main reason I'm saying that is that these markets don't really rely on what Russell is doing. Russell follows the other markets. And if you have been following Twitter or some other networks telling you that the rotation is real, this is where people's money are, it just doesn't work that way. Where we know where the money is. We know why Google is making new highs every week. We know why Apple is up there. We know why everybody is buying the dip with the other mega caps. We know why Nvidia bounced $20 between Friday lows on a really, really, really bad day. They bounced $10 and then another $10. So $20 between two sessions. So I didn't believe it. I don't think you guys should believe it. These companies are at a decision point right now. If we are not cutting the rates one more time, remember one of my points from last video and the last couple videos, that what he said, if we're not cutting rates one more time in December, these companies are going to moderate, and I think they're going to drift into high 2300s and park themselves there. I don't think they're going to be in the 2600s. They may bounce a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is that you're not going to see a rally that's triggered by these guys. These guys will join the rally that's triggered by the companies that are now consolidating, which is basically this bunch here. All right. So if these guys get in sync, these drop a little bit, these start getting stronger, then RTY will follow them. But don't be delusional about these guys taking us higher. It just failed every time so far. All right. And this has been an incredible gold mine for our Nakoda stock market, for me and for people who are following my trades. Going back to before we go to ES micro, let's look at the VIX a little bit. This is the VIX daily. This is the 2 hours, a little bit more meaningful. We are holding some highs. Right around this red dash line. For those of you following my charts, the 18 level is very important. I consider 18 to 18.6, like one kind of regime, and 18.6 to 21.3 another, and above 21 is a different ball game. But as long as we hold right around 18, I'm going to stay kind of nimble and trade point F to point A to point B. I recommend you guys do the same. There's this, the Senate approval and then the House thing going on, so that may not be clear until tomorrow night, earliest. So we still have a lot of time until we can rely on those news triggers. So we're gonna have to trade this market without them helping us. Bitcoin, I think it's still consolidating. This looks like a firm, solid floor, but I don't believe it. The Bitcoin is in a slug. I think it's gonna continue. I don't know how much longer, but I have been right so far on this, and I also didn't believe this rally. That's also been failing. But by tomorrow, what happens with the government opening, things can change. Gold. So one point that I was going to make, the last video I made a comment about the general area of 4012 to 4020. That's that orange dash line, and I got some other lines now there, a little above there, right here. basically these dead cat bounces, all these days were, each of them were dead cat bounces. So I made a point on that video that we either cannot break this, and we were still trading in this area, I think, right in this area, or somewhere in this area. I said we either break this, and then that break takes us to the dead cat bounce area. We draw a large ball. Remember, I said I don't remember how long it's gonna take. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it can take weeks or it can take days to draw that large ball, and that large ball will take us up to the tippy tops of these dead cat bounces, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. So we broke that general 4,000 and teens area, and I was also suggesting that you don't short it when we break it, because it'll float us up here. So one of these areas, and the reason why I marked the wick tops is that so you have a visual. They don't really always work that way. Most of the time, actually, it's the candle bodies that get it, and it's most of the time from a back area here. So you need to treat this as a band, say 45.56 to 45.75. This is your $20 band. That will be the band where gold fails. It has another curl back down, kind of like the markets. It may not fail all the way back. It may fail to one of these areas, and the more likely area will be, I can identify that for you guys when I post the charts, but it will likely be right in this region, 4100 region, or the bottom of these little wicks here, this little cluster here. This little cluster can actually very well become a consolidation area if they curl back down, and that would coincide with this area as well. And if they beat this area, they consolidate, expect them to consolidate here, they're going to go higher. How much higher? The next level will be about 42.30. Okay. Natural gas, I did not participate this rally. I thought it was overdone. I think natural gas is not worth $4 and change right now. I think it's worth $3.80 maybe. I think it should tank, and once it does that, I'm going to go long for into March probably. I don't think it's a good trade right now. I'm going to wait the Thursday contract change for that, and that's not happening this week. Next week. So crude, it is in a very tight range. It's really cheap when it gets to 57, and it's really expensive when it goes up to 62. So that leaves us with a very tight $4-5 range, and it is not using that entire range. It's only using about $1.50, and it's very difficult to trade crude like that, and I highly recommend you guys don't short it. This thing crashes up, it doesn't crash down. I repeat that in every video I make. Wait for a good dip, and the inside of this aqua box, this blue box, was always a good buy. I said that for about 3-4 weeks now. I've had that box there. You can try to buy that and then sell into one of these prior fails. I would not buy crude here thinking that it's going to go higher. I would be patient with it. I don't think it's got world has like basically crude coming out of our ears. There's so much supply everywhere, and all the talks that US is doing about not letting Russia sell oil, all that is horseshit. Russia is able to sell with pirate ships to whomever they want to. So the market is flooded, and just wait for a nice dip. And I think if the tone about the economy turns sour, and if there's no cuts, you're going to see crude come back down to this little wick here, 58.8, I'm sorry, and it's going to revisit this area. This whole thing here, this whole painful price action, is basically a kind of like a preview of a revisit to this area, in my opinion, if not to this 56.8 area, this little grayish dashed line. Okay, so this is the range. 60.80 and 56.80 is a historical range, and they are hugging the top of that historical range, which I have a hard time to believe that they're going to do anything with. So I think crude goes a little bit lower before it makes itself higher, probably not before the end of December. That's historically what it does. All right, so let's go to ES. Let's look at some micro price action. Let's go to the 15-minute. This is the incredible rise we had. If you guys want to see how much that rise was in ES points, that thing was a beast. It was like 220 or something. It's 210 points between combined between Friday and Monday, excuse me, they are okay dipping to 68.31 right now with this PP. They will easily make their way back up from there. If they dip any deeper, and I mean close to the 6800 area, that's where they can't really kind of blink. This is where you're gonna have to see like a really aggressive buying, and even that would be really far away from what they did yesterday. So that aggressive buying will have to be followed up with a new high, or you will be able to short that thing into this PP or something else in this area, because this is such a large area. If they drop this much, I would expect them to actually drop to either to 82 or 67.75. But the bounces from there you can trade. They're going to try to bounce from here because of what happened here, because of the Sunday open. We still have a gap here. So this and basically this whole thing, the algos trading here, because of all of that, if we go down there, they're going to try to aggressively buy it. That would be the really only chance to save this week. Otherwise, this week will turn sour, and it will start with basically testing this gap here. It's very hard to tell what happens now, because this is a stock price action, and it's very common to have a stock price action like this after doing this. And this was a lot of algos to break through key levels. This was a lot of algos. What happens is that you basically drift, and then you drift to a level. Then you gauge buyer sentiment. If the buyers are not excited at 31, and they're gonna wait for the buyers to be excited here. If the buyers are not as excited here, then you're gonna fill the gap. So we're gonna have to play this by ear. It's not a very clear price action, but if they do go above the high here, the initial target is the monthly open 68.78, and then this is where the trade ends, in my opinion, 68.92. I would not expect them to go do anything crazy today, and after maybe a little bit seeing the price action today, I can update you guys, but that is what I am seeing right now. NQ is not that much different. The 15 of the NQ is a little bit more better actually, so they actually met their PP. So watch for mega caps to be bought here. You can probably trade this a little bit, but if they don't make a new high, and I mean that's probably like middle of the day or early afternoon, I think this price action will drift lower. And how much lower for NQ? Same story. This wick will be the first target. This sideways consolidation, and this wick, just like the ES chart, will be the first target. If they lose that, they're going to start attacking this gap area. All right. So very similar. And RTY in the smaller time frame, they are, like I said, refer to the daily chart conversation. It's very important what they did there. This fib may be useful. I'm going to bring it back for you guys. They never made the full retracement. As you guys know, with ES and NQ, we went above them. We did the full retracement. So these guys are really looking not very strong. If they cannot, I'll give you the exact numbers. If they cannot get themselves above one of these pivots, and it better be this one, the monthly open, or this one. I don't think anything less than that saves RTY. It's weak. I think they're gonna drift down, and you obviously you're aware of my black lines, 24.52. If they lose this, they're gonna drift to 17. If they hold this, they're gonna drift to 74. So they are in the consolidation zone. This 52 to 74 zone is consolidation. Nothing happens there. It's a ping pong game. And you can buy this or you can sell this, but if they get themselves up to monthly open or 92, then RTY is going to be really well positioned for any triggers. But if they drift below 52, they're going to come back to the 17. So we'll see what they do, but they are definitely weaker than NQ, and NQ is also weaker than ES, as I showed you guys in the collectives map. So trade accordingly. All right, guys, I think the last thing to check is we can look at the SPX close. This is the close yesterday. They jumped above that 9 EMA. So this is also a very well-known pattern. You drop with these hammer-looking things, and then you have a red day, then you have another one, and then you gap up. The next candle is very important. Like I said on ES as well, it's going to determine what we do. And it's very likely that you get another up day. Usually it's a smaller green day up here. If you cannot make that, it's usually, if that doesn't happen, it's usually a full reversal candle. And it doesn't always come next day, so it could be Wednesday. I mean, today is a Tuesday, but it could be Thursday as well. So either today or next day is going to give us. So I don't expect today to be the real thing, because of this, there's an immense pressure to hold these levels now. So I expect a small green candle here. Well, we'll see how the day goes. If they cannot hold it, they will have no choice but to drop and put the candle today. And let's look at the pivots here. Just a quick look at all of our pivots. This is the 30-minute SPY, and this is the 30-minute Qs. All right, if you have any questions, you know where to find me, and I will see you guys in Discord. Peace.